Firstly, driving anything is always getting you better as a driver. I love to keep going. The more that you practice, the better. I mean, practice makes perfect. It's just important to have the basics correct in sim racing, in track racing, understand how to be fast around the track. Fitness and nutrition is not looked at so much. Having a quick look at data in general, that just builds you up. My main advice is to listen to them. I use it as fuel to continue to be motivated. So if you can be good at that, then you're just a step above everyone as well. But I think the guys that are at the top level in karting that become Formula One drivers,
So I'm here with Zane Maloney, who I think is potentially the hottest prospect in racing right now. I know you'd be too modest to say that, but you are leading championship in F2. You have the testing position here at Andretti Formula E, and this is going to be your fourth time in the car. You're also a test driver at Stake F1. First question is, how do you manage that? I mean, even one of those things is busy enough, so how are you managing it?
it's very difficult. I have great people around me who kind of plan everything and sort everything out. The travel is a lot, for sure, especially this year, doing the Formula E, F1, F2. It's been difficult, but I love to keep going, so I use it as fuel to continue to be motivated, and so far the season's going great.
Is there anything from each of those particular disciplines that you find really helpful in terms of adding to your driving style? Is there anything unique in those ones that you think, okay, I'm practicing there and getting good at it?
Yeah, I think that firstly, driving anything is always getting you better as a driver. So when I'm in a Formula E car, okay, it's not helping me for F2, but it's helping me as a driver in general. So I like to be driving in anything, and then also working with such amazing teams like Andretti, Stake F1 team, Rodin in F2. There's such smart and amazing people that I work with. So in general, that just builds you up and gives you lots of information for the future, for the present, and then also that helps you understand what maybe could have gone wrong in the past. So in general, I think all the people I'm working with are just amazing at their job.
And here at Andretti Formula E, we've got Jake Dennis in the background, the FIA Formula E World Champion. What's your relationship like with Jake? Is there any sort of mentoring there, or just tell us about the relationship working with someone like Jake who's so experienced?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be working with Jake. I think he's with the same management as me, so ADD management. We're both managed by them. So I knew Jake before this year, let's say. Of course, watching him drive, watching Norman, learning as much as I can from them, trying to give my input as well has been going very well. They're both very good drivers. Also Jake, of course, he's not my coach. He's here to win championships and races, and I'm also here to do the same in F2. So from that side, not as much, but of course, tomorrow when I do the FP0, he'll be giving me as much information as I can. And then, of course, I'm the first step to a good weekend for the team, so I need to do a good job as well.
And on a regular race weekend in Formula E, your role as a test driver, what does that involve you doing on the sim or giving the feedback? Can you just give us some insight on how you input and, like you said, ensure the team has a good weekend starting forward?
Yeah, so I guess this year is quite difficult just because I'm doing another championship, so I can't be at the sim as much as the team would want or I would want. But I do sim days before each weekend. I think the driver's role is to kind of, for them, understand how to be fast around the track, and my role is kind of do all the things in the background that the team want to do to test before the weekend or whatever. It's the boring stuff that it's better that the drivers stay focused on what they're doing, and I can do it for them. So in general, that's the main thing, and then during the weekends, just going on track, seeing what I see, having a quick look at data. Jake and Norman know what they're doing, so not too much, but still just seeing whatever I can and relaying it back to them.
So we'll get on to FP0, but again, in that role, it kind of, I guess by definition, makes you a sim racer. That'd be amazing if you have any time to do what we know as sim racing in spare time. But are there any sort of driving tips or tricks that you can give to people who are racing on sims at home that you've picked up in your multiple series and driving on the official hardcore sim for Andretti Formula E?
Yeah, for simulator stuff, it's actually quite difficult just because when you're driving a real car, you can feel everything in the ground and you in the back of the seat, and you can really feel what's happening with the car. In sim racing, it's a lot different. Depending on the level of the sim, of course, you can feel more, but generally it's your hands and your feet and your eyes that are doing the work, nothing else. So I think it's just important to have the basics correct in sim racing, in track racing, in whatever it is, have the basics correct on what you want to do. The more that you practice, the better. When I was watching the F1 esports actually yesterday, and those guys train 20 hours a day on the simulators, so I think practice makes perfect in real life, which we don't get the opportunity to do it in real life. So it's cool that you can do it on the sim and you can be as good as you want, depending on how much you want to do.
Yeah. And you're coming to drive FP0, your fourth time in the Andretti Formula E car. What's that like for you? Is it an opportunity to shine? Are you getting information? Do you put pressure on yourself or not? I'm just interested to know, because you're in an early stage of your career, and who knows where it will go? And this could be a pivotal moment. So how do you view this opportunity in the context of everything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great opportunity. I think that last year when I did the rookie test in Berlin, I wasn't with Andretti, so it was kind of, I needed to come in and do a good job to show them that I'm a good driver, which I did. So now I'm with them. It's more of a trying to help them for the weekend. I haven't seen the plan yet, but not sure how much, let's say, push running versus gathering data we'll be doing. So of course there's always pressure when you get in a race car for a big team. I mean, that's always going to be the case, but I don't really see it as that. I see it as we want to win 2 races this weekend, or 1-2 in 2 races this weekend. So whatever I can do to help with that is my goal. And then of course I'll be in Berlin as well. So just continuing to try to help the team out, learn from the team, and just improve myself everywhere.
It's really interesting to hear that role of a test driver and how you contribute that people on TV might not appreciate. But you seem to have so many options. You have so many, you're performing so well this season. F2 we know is so competitive. We've seen, I think, is it Paul Aron in F2? He's going to be driving, I think, within Vision later in the season because of the Clash Formula he has. How does that make you feel? Do you want to jump in the Formula E car in a race? Kind of what, where do you want to take your career next? If ideally up to you. It's a tough question.
Not really. I mean, if it's ideal to me, I want to be a Formula 1 driver. I think that's a fact. That's quite obvious. So, I mean, my job is just F2 right now. Of course, when I'm here with Formula E, that's my job for the weekend. But my main job is F2. So I'm focused on that. I mean, so far it's going well. So I just need to keep doing a good job in F2, keep improving. My goal is Formula 1, but you can't be blind to the fact that Formula E is a great series, IndyCar is a great series, and there's 20 drivers in Formula 1. There's more than 20 drivers who should have the opportunity, so it's difficult to get into Formula 1, and you just need to understand that and keep other options available. I mean, I would love to be in Formula E, but of course my dream, my goal, everything is set on Formula 1.
Well, it looks like you're playing all right, got all the cards. Just a final question, I want to take you back to karting, because your karting career was phenomenal. Well, from what I see, I've been speaking with people who've been on the circuit, and your name comes up quite a lot. Do you have any tips for kids right now on the karting circuit who are looking at people like you, who have got the options in F2 and Formula E and Formula 1? Any tips and tricks you give? Maybe not even about the driving, but just how to approach that mentally and sort of keep going and.
Yeah, I think when I look back at my karting career, you almost think if I went back there now, not even with the experience, just with the mindset, how much better you'd do. So I think it's important. I mean, karting, you start so young nowadays, so it's difficult to have a mature mindset at 12 years old, 11 years old. But I think the guys that are at the top level in karting that become Formula 1 drivers, they have the right mindset from the beginning. And that mindset is to just always wanting to be learning from someone. I was with RFM, and when I look back, I mean, they did an amazing job, and I also tried my best to learn from them, but I could have done a lot better job of understanding what they're trying to teach me and not being defensive and just taking everything in. I think that in the karting paddock, all of those guys have been doing it for so long, so my main advice is to listen to them. They know what they're talking about, and I mean, just keep practicing at it. I think every day should be a day for improvement in general in life. I think in karting, fitness and nutrition is not looked at so much. So if you can be good at that, then you're just a step above everyone as well.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a heavyweight karting driver, but yeah, to get slimmed down, go to lightweight again. That's really interesting to hear, sort of taking that feedback on board. And you're in a very unique position. We're getting so much feedback from this series. But Zane Maloney, definitely a name people are going to be hearing a lot more. And I wish you all the best this year in all of your different championships and formulas, but especially FP0 here at Formula E. So best of luck, Zane.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, hope it goes well.
Thanks.
That was awesome.
Cool. Thanks a lot.